Welcome everybody, it's Dr. Wade again. We are on week 8. This is our final week, so congratulations on making it to the end of the semester. So this week we are doing basically a review of everything that we've looked at so far, but really we're applying the lower quarter that we've looked at since the midterm. So since the start of week 5 until now. So the last 3 weeks is really the primary content we're wanting to review and reapply. Okay, so for this week we're getting back into chapter 12, which is the review chapter. But primarily we're just looking at pages 367 through 401. I'm going to talk about the PowerPoint briefly. It's the same PowerPoint you looked at in preparation for the midterm, except for we're going to focus on the lower quarter of it rather than the upper quarter. So be sure to look through the PowerPoint and review those. And then the tasks this week, which I'm going to talk about these a little bit more in detail once I talk about the PowerPoint. On Friday, your final exam is due. Now it's really critical that you get everything turned in on time this week because once the semester ends on Friday, it's over. So there's no late work or makeup work. I'll start grading everything and posting grades and sending them to registrar. So make sure you stay on top of things this week. And if you need help or extra time, schedule it and let me know ahead of time. But beyond the final due date for this week, nothing else will be submitted or allowed to be submitted. So final exam Friday. Mark your calendar. Make sure you get that done before midnight. Otherwise, it closes and it's over. Critical assignment is the big one this week. You're doing a video analysis of upper and lower quarter. This is due Wednesday. Okay, so stay on top of this. It's due earlier in the week. So I recommend looking through the PowerPoint after this video, getting right into the critical assignment, getting that done first, and then taking your final exam. Okay. Now, before I get to the critical assignment and the details of that, just real briefly, the PowerPoint, it's going to start off looking at upper extremity activities. We're not as concerned about those. It goes over the shoulder area, the agonist, antagonist. You probably recall this from the week 4 content. Talked about the example of pitching and the phases, movement phases broken down, emphasis on preparatory phases, action phases, follow through, and so forth. The same can be applied to the lower extremities, like kicking a soccer ball or punting a football, or any type of running mechanics broken down. Remember, it all deals with the kinetic chain concept, that joints are connected through the kinetic chain of the body, and function at one joint can affect the other, okay, down the chain or even up the chain. Recall the overload principle. You have to overload the muscle in order to improve it, to grow, to basically advance in our training efforts. So that's the overloading principle, the SAID principle, the adaptations that occur. And then there's specificity of training. And then the final one is looking at muscular development. How do we develop muscle over time? Strength, power, velocity, those concepts involved in there. For the exercises, go towards the bottom of the PowerPoint and pay close attention to the abdominal exercises, both isometric and movement, or isokinetic. And then, so those would be the core exercises. And then pay really close attention to the squat. The squat is going to be your critical assignment for this week. The squat can be a little tricky. So the squat, the deadlift, very similar, and then all the isometric exercises that are involved in there. That's really the lecture material in a nutshell. Don't have to pay or I shouldn't say pay as much attention, but you don't have to spend as much time in the PowerPoint this week. More so focus on your critical assignment, which is the squat analysis. Okay, 2 files that are used for this video analysis. When you click in, I'm in the week 8 right now, looking at the content. The first thing you'll see below the chapter PowerPoint, you'll see exam 2, the final. It becomes available on December 16th at 12 in the morning. Be very cautious when taking this. Make sure you have a good internet source. Recognize that you're going to have 200 minutes. It's a lot of time, so isolate yourself somewhere. I lock myself in my office all the time when I take these types of exams and assessments. And just let your loved ones know you need time alone. Put some noise canceling headphones on, and I think I've got mine hanging back there. It's always ready to go. Make sure your internet source is solid, and then enter in and go at it. There's 100 questions, and remember to be very close attention to how you spell things, because anatomy requires good spelling and classification of things. Yeah, and that's about it. So review the instructions on there for that. Make sure you take it by midnight on Friday. Then the video analysis, our critical assignment, 2 files attached here. You have the SWOT analysis file, which will take you, it's a document that's going to take you through how to actually execute this assignment. It talks about the proper SWOT versus an improper SWOT, and it's broken down in the downward phase and upward phase. So you notice in the document, I'm looking at it right now, there's a column for motion, plane, agonist, origin, insertion, innervation, and contraction. You need to fill out the muscles and the actions and so forth, everything that affects the downward phase of the hip, knee, ankle, and L spine, which is our lumbar spine, okay, lower lumbar, part of the core, right? And then the upward phase as well. And then the improper, you'll want to identify those, okay? Instructions are pretty clear on how to do this. There are video references on a proper versus improper squat. I highly recommend you watch those right away, take notes of them, and then get into it right away. There is a rubric, a very specific rubric for each area that I'm expecting you to identify, from the kinematics of the joint, the agonist, origins, insertions, innervation, and application of the exercise, okay? Now, below the rubric and the video analysis files, there are directions for how to submit this. Very, very important. Pay very close attention to each step. I've even highlighted this to make it stand out. You will submit your assignment to TaskStream, okay? This is going to allow me to assess whether or not this is your original work. So make sure you're doing your own work, not working together and copying each other's stuff. Write everything in your own words. Be original, okay? You can work together with another student on ideas, but make sure you're filling out your own forms, submitting your own work, okay? Very important. Don't get flagged by TaskStream, okay? So you're going to submit this on Blackboard to be graded by me, and you're also going to submit it on TaskStream, okay, which is going to be reviewed by the university, okay? So it says at the very top that you'll submit to 2 places, Blackboard and TaskStream, and then below that, and there also is a file for how to create a TaskStream account, which you'll need to do if you haven't already. Most Cal Baptist students already have a TaskStream account, but if you don't, you need to set that up, and there's instructions for that. It says make sure you're using Firefox or Google Chrome. I use Google Chrome for everything with Blackboard. It functions really well. So if you're using Google Chrome, that's great. Firefox works well as well. But don't use Safari. Safari doesn't work. Internet browser often doesn't work on Microsoft. So first submit the critical assignment on the check critical assignment for originality here, which is going to be right below these instructions. Then you will submit it to TaskStream, okay? So the link in Blackboard is going to go through SafeAssign and make sure that it is your work. Then after you submit that, you'll go to TaskStream and you'll click on the Submit Critical Assignment Here link in the learning activities for the week, okay? And you'll see if you go down to the very bottom, it says submit critical assignment here at the very bottom of our page. So just submit to those two places. The link that says critical assignment for originality, and then submit critical assignment here, okay? There's 10 steps. It says click on the critical assignment, agree to the task stream agreement, click on critical assignment link, click work, select attachments, upload from your computer, drag the document into the box, upload and close, save and return, and then click submit, okay? Yeah, just follow these instructions. If you have questions, if you have issues with getting this all set up, there is an email to contact. You can also reach out to IT or contact me and let me know if there's something that I can do on my end, okay? Last thing for you to do is the course evaluation. Very important. We like feedback. These courses are pre-created by faculty at Cal Baptist. So the evaluation of the course is helpful both for the faculty are working on developing the curriculum, as well as the faculty like me that are helping to present the material. So let us know what went well, what didn't go well, what could be improved. I know with conversation with many of you this last few weeks, there's been some hiccups in the software and quiz work and all that, and that feedback has been really helpful because I can pass that on to the faculty members working on this course curriculum to help better develop it for the future, okay? So please take the evaluation seriously and give us some feedback on how we can improve for future, okay? Well, thank you for a wonderful semester, for working hard. Many of you have stayed on top of your tasks and been diligent in getting things submitted and have done really good work. So congratulations on finishing, and good luck on the next step. For many of you who are taking the next phase of movement anatomy in the spring, I am working alongside some other faculty, and so I'm sure I'll see you in those courses. All right, take care. And also, Merry Christmas.